Good morning, St. Markians. Have you all ever heard the expression, do the ends justify the means? It's not one that we hear too often, but for some reason, that phrase was on my mind when I woke up, a week or so ago. Just a random thought. I couldn't get it out of my mind, but I had nothing to connect it with. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't remember what I was dreaming or what I was thinking about before I went to sleep. I saw no connection. So what did I do? I Googled it. What did we ever do before Google? So think of a situation in which you are confident that you know exactly what needs to happen that will accomplish the desired end, what you think needs to happen to resolve a situation. And so what do we do about reaching this end? We set about doing all that we can possibly do to make that happen. It's whatever means or ways or methods that you choose to achieve the end result you think will work. This can be as simple as a conversation when you feel you must convince another person of what you think needs to happen to reach the result you think is right. Or it can be a situation that you think needs to be corrected, and you're certain that you know what needs to happen, and you proceed to use the means or methods for making that happen. Interesting, but still I was puzzled. Why is this still stuck in my mind? Then as I was working on my BSF lesson, which is in Genesis, I saw some perfect examples of the ends not really justifying the means that were used to accomplish the desired effects. We're studying in-depth studies of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Rachel, and all their children. Remember in Genesis 12 when Abram and Sarah traveled to Egypt, and Abe decided to tell everyone that Sarah was his sister and not his wife, so that Pharaoh wouldn't kill him and that he would be treated well. Well, Sarah was beautiful and was taken to be part of Pharaoh's harem, which could have been a terrible end for Sarah. But God intervened and caused diseases on Pharaoh's household, thus protecting Sarah. Abram's desired end was that he would not be killed and would be treated well. That's a good thing. But the means or methods he used were not good and could have resulted in terrible treatment of his wife, Sarah. So did the end that Abram was seeking justify or excuse the means or methods he used? We see this theory repeated again and again in Genesis. Sarah's desired end, her goal, was a son that God had promised. And then we saw her means or methods, how she took it in her own hands, and we saw the results of that. And we look at Jacob. What was the end he wanted? He wanted to receive the birthright and his father's blessings. And then we saw the means or the methods that he used. So these are all good examples of did the end, whatever they wanted to happen, really justify or excuse the means or methods they used. But all these people mentioned, I should say, were part of God's promise to make Abram a great nation and that all the people would be blessed through him and his descendants. It shows us how God uses and continues to use imperfect people to accomplish his goals and his plans. But now I'm back to square one, wondering, why is this phrase specifically, what does it have to do with me? Then I remembered a conversation I had had with a friend in which I became a little more persistent than I usually do in making my point, which I felt very strongly was right. The end, the goal, was to convince them how right that was. And then it dawned on me that the methods I was using were not really good, because I'm sorry to admit I got a little bit upset. The end I was trying to achieve, change their opinion, definitely did not justify the means, the methods I had used. Ouch. But in this past year, we've all taken stands on what we thought should happen to fix things that we thought needed fixing. We all have different opinions. But this was a reminder to me to look at my attitude and my words and the means I am using to justify or excuse those words. I believe God nudges us, whispers, or echoes thoughts, words, or convictions when we need it. And this is what I learned from this. As a believer, a Christian, a Christ follower, the end or my desire every day should be to reflect in all that I do and say, in all my conversations, I should reflect Christ. And do my words, do they reflect love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control? Do they reflect loving God, loving and forgiving others? Those should be my means, my methods, the way I accomplish the end result is living a life that reflects the characteristics of Christ. So ask ourselves, do my words or my actions heal or hurt, help or hinder, encourage or discourage, promote peace or panic? Do my words show love or do they show hate? So this experience has reminded me to be very careful of the means and words I use, trying to convince another or accomplish an end I think is so right. More importantly, that my actions will be pleasing to God. So Psalms 139, 23, and 24, let this be our prayer for all of us today and every day. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any hurtful way in me, and lead me in your everlasting way. Have a great day.